John, you're here for organizational meetings. For fans who might not know what all that means, what kind of things are you guys discussing here?
So right now we're focused on 2017 and 2018, and so I have all our my direct reports. So those are the department heads. So Gary LaRocque, who oversees the minor league operations, Randy Flores, the amateur scouting, Moises Rodriguez, and then many others from St. Louis that interact. And ultimately, we're just trying to set our strategy for what we want to see happen in 2017 and beyond.
In terms of how that might affect Peoria here, how might that affect Peoria here?
Well, these meetings are more from a high level. In terms of on a more granular look, we probably won't dive down that far. We have player development meetings in about 2 weeks down in Jupiter, Florida, which will be much more specific to what you see on the field, who runs everything on the field, to where we want to see, like Peoria, how we want to see it built in the outcoming years.
Toward that end, we're seeing now some players who came through here recently that are pretty exciting to watch. Your thoughts on Carson Kelly, who's ongoing conversion to catcher. Looks
well, right,
good.
and Carson's knocking on the doorstep right now for the big leagues. Clearly the success we've had here in Peoria is not by accident. We obviously find this it's a very important affiliate for us. Obviously, the connection between St. Louis and Peoria is from a close geographic proximity, and so we are always trying to put an exciting product out here. And more importantly, I think it speaks well of what we have going on internationally and domestically in the draft, and you're starting to see that talent show itself. And as you mentioned, we have guys right now that are knocking on the door at the major league level, but I think the success you've seen with this club over the last couple of years has been a direct reflection to the draft in international markets.
How excited are you guys about Mags Sierra in the season he's had here?
He's a player that from just a tool standpoint has everything.
Yeah.
And if he can, I always feel like if he can work on his approach at the plate to where until he gets 2 strikes, try to hit the ball a little bit harder. But for the most part, he understands his game. He knows how to get that infield hit. Probably one of the best defensive outfielders we have in our system. So, he's taken the right steps forward, and glad to see he's been doing it.
You still project him with the big club, maybe 2018, I think was...
When you think about that type of growth, I mean, obviously next year he's going to ultimately, you hope he ends up at AA when the season ends, and then once you're there, anything can happen. So 2018, 2019, that would be great.
Perfect, right? And
Yeah.
Alex Reyes is there. Is he going to be a starter or a bullpen guy?
Well, I think long term he's a starter.
Yeah.
How he's used the remainder part of this year will just depend on need. I'm hopeful that Mike Lee can get off the DL and be ready to pitch once those 15 days are up, and then we'll just decide how to best use Reyes at that point.
Last thing here, there's always that balance between developing for the big club and winning at the local level. Where do you see this with Peoria? They've lost a lot of pieces from that division championship team in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any plan to help them more, or is this the group we're going to play with?
I think this will likely be the group we're playing with, and part of that's because all 3 clubs below are in the playoffs as well. So now, as teams lose, then you could see some people advance. But I think right now my hope is that everybody has success, and it's great that our 4 lowest level teams have all made it to the postseason.
Oh, I would be remiss, too, not to mention Joe Krusel, who
Mm-hmm.
set a franchise record this year for career wins by a manager in Peoria. Has had 3 terrific seasons here. Is a 4th year on the table for him?
I don't think I know that answer yet. In other words, when I get down to those player development meetings in a couple weeks, that's when Gary LaRocque, our farm director, will unfold what he wants to see happen with our system. But Joe has done a nice job here. He has the kids prepared, and I think from my standpoint, managers that are working with their players and preparing them to have success is most important to me.